There are moments in life when the silence gets louder than the noise, when the phone stops ringing, friends vanish like smoke, and even your own shadow seems to abandon you. In those moments, you feel forgotten. You feel like life is punishing you. But what if I told you this is the greatest preparation of your life? You see, isolation isn't rejection, it's refinement. It's not a curse, it's a classroom. Before the universe gives its greatest blessings, it strips everything away that isn't meant to go with you. You start losing people and opportunities that once felt essential. You start losing people and opportunities that once felt essential. And at first it feels like life is collapsing in on you. The phone calls slow down, the messages dry up, and the people who once promised they'd always be there begin to slip away quietly. Maybe it's a best friend you thought was forever, or a mentor you believed would walk with you until the end. One by one, the constants in your life start becoming variables. And it doesn't make sense at first. You wonder what you did wrong. You replay conversations, analyze your actions, and try to find some flaw in yourself that could explain the distance. But what if it's not a punishment? What if it's alignment? Sometimes, life doesn't take people away to hurt you. It removes them because they can't go where you're going next. The chapter that's coming requires a different version of you, and not everyone fits in that future. They were perfect for your past. They served their purpose in your growth, in your healing, in your understanding of love, trust, or even betrayal. But now, they've completed their role. The lesson is over. And when life wants to elevate you, it starts with subtraction. You'll try to hold on, of course. That's human. You'll reach out, try to revive conversations, try to explain yourself, try to bridge the growing gap. But no matter what you do, the connection keeps fading. Because deep down, something bigger than your understanding is unfolding. The detachment is necessary. Without it, you'd stay tethered to old versions of yourself, stuck in old patterns, trapped in comfort zones disguised as loyalty. But comfort rarely produces growth. And the truth is, evolution often begins with isolation. The same happens with opportunities. Doors you once dreamed about will close right in front of you. Emails won't get replies. Interviews will go nowhere. Projects you poured your soul into will stall, or worse, collapse. You look at the wreckage and feel like you're being punished or forgotten. But behind the scenes, life is making moves your eyes can't yet see. That opportunity you thought was the one could have locked you into mediocrity, into stress, into staying small. You think you lost something vital, but what you really lost was a limitation dressed up as a dream. There is a divine intelligence in these losses. When people exit, they make space for peace. When opportunities dissolve, they leave room for clarity. But clarity doesn't come in chaos. It comes in quiet, in stillness, in solitude. It's only when you're stripped of distractions that you can hear your own voice again, raw, honest, and unfiltered. It's only in the absence of noise that you begin to meet the version of yourself that was buried beneath other people's expectations and opinion. Of course, there will be grief. Don't skip that part. Mourn the friendships, the missed chances, the relationships that didn't make it. That grief is sacred. It means you cared. But don't confuse that grief with failure. Don't wear the loss as shame. It's not a sign that you're unworthy. It's a sign that you're transitioning. And every transition demands a letting go. A snake can't grow without shedding its skin. A tree can't blossom without losing its leaves. And you can't rise without releasing what weighs you down. One day, not too far from now, you'll look back on this season with different eyes. You'll see the pattern, the protection, the preparation. You'll understand why certain people had to leave for better ones to arrive. Why certain jobs didn't work out so purpose could finally take root. You'll see that nothing was taken from you. It was being cleared, so that something greater, something more aligned with your truth could take its place. But you had to be emptied first. You had to be made ready. This is how transformation works. First comes the separation, then comes the silence, and then, when you least expect it, comes the blessing. But not a blessing you have to beg for. A blessing that feels like home. A blessing that matches the person you've become through the loss. Not who you were, but who you are now. The evolved version. The one who no longer settles. The one who finally understands that losing what you once thought was essential was actually the first step to gaining what you truly needed. You feel an unexplainable urge to withdraw and reflect. You feel an unexplainable urge to withdraw and reflect, and it's not something you can easily explain to others. It creeps in quietly, like a soft nudge from deep within, telling you that it's time to step back. Crowds feel louder, conversations feel heavier. Even being around people who once energized you now leaves you drained. You start canceling plans, not out of rudeness or sadness, but because your soul is craving something deeper than surface-level connection. You're not trying to be distant, you're trying to get close to yourself. There's a subtle shift happening inside you. It's not depression, it's not loneliness. It's a transition, a calling to go inward. You stop chasing validation. You stop needing to explain yourself, and instead you begin observing your habits, your thoughts, your triggers, your dreams. You notice patterns that have lived in you for years. This stillness becomes your sanctuary. It's in the quiet that truth begins to rise. You may feel guilty for withdrawing, especially when the world is constantly telling you to be more active, more social, more productive. But real growth often looks like less. Less noise, less movement, less explaining. There's wisdom in retreat. In the natural world, everything withdraws to grow. Seeds disappear underground before they bloom. The moon goes dark before it becomes full again. Caterpillars vanish into cocoons before emerging as butterflies. Why should your transformation be any different? The world doesn't always understand this kind of isolation. Friends might question you. Family might worry. They'll ask what's wrong, assuming something must be broken. But the truth is, you're not breaking. You're building. You're rebuilding your identity, your priorities, your energy. You're starting to realize that silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. The ones you've been too busy to hear, the ones you couldn't access while constantly showing up for everyone but yourself. During this season, you may start journaling, praying, meditating, walking alone, seeking something that doesn't yet have a name. That's okay, not everything has to be defined right away. The urge to reflect means your soul is sorting things out. It's sifting through years of conditioning, obligations, pain, and expectations. It's asking what's still real and what needs to be released. You're not withdrawing to escape, you're withdrawing to return to what's real, to what matters, to who you actually are underneath the masks. It's also in this space that old wounds begin to rise. Things you've buried for years suddenly surface, not to haunt you, but to heal. The silence gives them room to speak, and for the first time, you're able to listen without flinching. You see your younger self in need of forgiveness. You notice how you've dimmed your light to keep others comfortable. You see how often you've betrayed your own boundaries just to belong, and in this reflection, something incredible happens. You start choosing yourself, gently, powerfully. This urge to isolate isn't permanent. It's a sacred pause, a season of inner work. And though it feels lonely at times, it's also filled with hidden companionship, your intuition, your healing, your higher self, all sitting beside you in the stillness. You're not being left behind. You're being led deeper. And when you're ready to return to the world, you won't come back the same. You'll be more grounded, more aware, more aligned with your purpose. Not because you were told who to be, but because you finally asked yourself. This is what awakening looks like. It doesn't come with fireworks or fanfare. It starts quietly, with a nudge to step away. It deepens when you answer that call, and it changes everything when you surrender to the silence and find yourself waiting there. Your old habits and comfort zones no longer feel right. Your old habits and comfort zones no longer feel right, and at first it's confusing. The things that once brought you peace now make you restless. The routines that used to comfort you start to feel empty, repetitive, and oddly suffocating. You try to force the old rhythm, hoping it will feel the same, but something within you has shifted, and no matter how hard you try to go back, it doesn't feel like home anymore. It's as if your spirit has outgrown the walls you've built around it. You begin to feel disconnected from your usual escapes, scrolling endlessly on your phone, binge-watching shows, overworking yourself. None of it gives you the same numbness it used to. You become painfully aware of the time you waste, the energy you drain, and the parts of yourself you neglect by staying in cycles that no longer serve you. And though this realization brings discomfort, it also brings awakening. Because when something no longer numbs you, it forces you to feel, and when you feel, you grow. Comfort zones aren't always soft places. Sometimes they're just familiar pain. A job that drains you but pays the bills. A relationship that lacks love but provides company. A lifestyle that lacks passion but avoids risk. And when your inner world begins to expand, those things feel tighter. You'll notice the conversations you used to entertain now bore you. The gossip feels toxic. The chaos feels unnecessary. Even the food you eat, the music you play, the people you spend time with, everything gets questioned. Not because you're better than it, but because you're becoming more aware of what aligns with your becoming. This is where the tension sets in, because growth asks for sacrifice. It demands that you loosen your grip on the familiar, and familiarity, even when it's limiting, can feel safer than the unknown. So you hesitate. You tell yourself you can hold on a little longer, that it's not the right time to change. But the discomfort doesn't go away. In fact, it grows louder, because when your soul knows there's more, it won't let you settle for less. Not anymore. You'll try to shrink yourself back into your old self. You'll try to be normal, to return to who you were before the discomfort started, but it won't work. The old tools can't build your new life. The old mindset can't carry your next chapter. What you're feeling isn't failure. It's the friction between your current self and your future self. And that tension is trying to pull you forward, not break you down. It's hard to explain this feeling to others. They might not understand why you no longer want to go out as much, or why your dreams suddenly change direction, or why you're turning down things you used to say yes to. But this is your realignment, not theirs. This is the part where you begin choosing what nourishes your evolution over what satisfies your ego. You stop chasing the loud things and start listening to the quiet voice that's been whispering the truth all along. You were never meant to stay the same. That quiet voice will lead you to new rituals, habits that honor your growth, not your survival. You'll find yourself journaling more, reading with intention, waking up earlier, breathing more deeply, surrounding yourself with people who inspire something higher in you. It doesn't happen all at once, but slowly, day by day, your life begins to reflect the version of yourself you've secretly longed to become. Not because someone told you to, but because you finally stopped resisting your own evolution. And this is where the beauty begins. When the old no longer fits and the new hasn't fully arrived, you exist in the in-between, a sacred, uncomfortable, powerful space. It's the space where you meet yourself, where you make peace with your past and extend your hand to your future, where your comfort zones dissolve not because you forced them to, but because you grew too much to remain inside them. When life begins to shift, when people fade, when silence surrounds you, when your habits no longer bring you peace, it's easy to feel lost. But what's really happening is transformation. These moments of isolation are not signs of abandonment. They are sacred signals that you're being prepared. You're not being punished. You're being purified. When everything familiar starts to fall away, it's because something greater is trying to find its way in. The detachment, the stillness, the discomfort, they are not random, they are invitations to rise. You're being called to reflect, to go inward, to shed the parts of yourself that no longer serve your future. Your soul knows. It recognizes that the life you're building can't be built on foundations that were meant for who you used to be. So the losses come, the silence deepens, the discomfort grows, not to destroy you, but to awaken you, because you can't carry old energy into new seasons. And before blessings arrive, you must become the version of yourself strong enough to hold them. This path isn't easy, but it is necessary. Every quiet moment, every tear you've cried alone, every door that didn't open, it's all part of a divine preparation. You're being stretched, shaped and strengthened for a life that aligns with your purpose. And once you've endured the silence, once you've honored the inner work, once you've embraced the solitude, you'll find yourself stepping into blessings that feel like home, because now you'll finally be ready to receive them. Thank you for walking this path with an open heart. May you find peace in your process, strength in your silence, and joy in what's to come. Stay grounded, stay patient, and keep going. Thank you. Bless you.